How to write numbers in English correctly. We use numbers every day without even thinking about them in our calendars, recipes, to-do lists, etc. Let's figure out how to use them in writing correctly. Cardinal numbers. Cardinal numbers are the numbers that we use to count objects, people, animals, etc. Cardinal numbers represent a quantity. When writing cardinal numbers, we can either write them out as words or use digits, numerals, from 0 to 9. When it comes to using cardinal numbers in writing, we usually spell out numbers from 1 to 9, i.e., write them as words. For example, I have 1 pen, there are 5 books on the table. You should use numerals to express large numbers, i.e., above 9 or 10, depending on the style guide. For example, there are 12 people in my team. The temperature today is higher than 30 degrees Celsius. When it comes to fractions, you should spell them out in formal writing in casual texts. This is a matter of preference. You have completed just 1/4 of the book. Take a half gallon of milk. Take 1/2 gallon of milk. Another important thing to note is that currency symbols such as a dollar sign should be placed in front of the number in writing. In English, we also use commas. With figures of 4 or more digits, you should place a comma after every 3 digits. For example, he won $20,000 in the lottery. We also use cardinal numbers to write precise time in English, such as 1923. Although time can be expressed in various formats, you may want to stick to a 24-hour system to avoid misunderstandings and confusing AM and PM. We use numerals for writing time as well as phone numbers. We use a hyphen to connect two-word numbers in writing. You should hyphenate all compound numbers from 21 through 99. For example, my sister is 27 years old. This coat costs $98.99. I have finished 25% of this task. If the sentence begins with a number, we always spell out numbers, no matter how small or large they are. For example, 250 babies are born every minute, 47 minutes are left. If you want to avoid spelling out numbers that have 3 or more digits, you can try and rearrange the sentence so the number doesn't come first. You could write it like this: there are 250 babies born every minute, there are 47 minutes left. There are different ways to express decades in writing. For example, the shortest format to write decades is using 2-digit numbers with an apostrophe before them and an S after them. Example, 60s. You can also write an entire decade in numerals with an S after it, the 1960s. Ordinal numbers. Ordinal numbers are the numbers that we use to express order or rank in a sequence, example, first, second, third, etc. Ordinal numbers represent position. We also use ordinal numbers to write dates in English dash. For example, the 4th of July. To write ordinal numbers in words, we add th to a cardinal number, e.g., 7. However, there are several irregular ordinal numbers you need to memorize by heart. 1 first, 2 second, 3 third, 5 fifth, 8 eighth, 9 ninth, 12 12th. To write ordinal numbers as numerals, we add the last 2 letters of the written number to it, like this: first 1 st, second 2 nd, third third. When spelling out large numbers, we only change the last numeral to an ordinal number. For example, I was 321st in line to buy tickets for this concert. Fractions and decimals. We use fractions and decimals in the English language to indicate partial amounts of something. You can create fractions of whole numbers using both cardinal and ordinal numbers. The numerator, the numeral above the line, is always a cardinal number, while the denominator, the numeral below the line, is always an ordinal number. For example, fraction number 1/5 should be written out as 1/5. When a numerator is greater than 1, we use the denominator in plural by adding an s. 2/3 should be written out as 2/3. Mixed fractions are often expressed in figures unless they begin a sentence. For example, both these examples will be correct. For this recipe, you need 1 3/4 cup of flour. 5.5 hours of sleep isn't enough for proper rest. A decimal is a number that consists of a whole number and a fractional part separated by a decimal point. Example 1.275. Decimals are always written as numerals for clarity and accuracy. However, it's not advised to use a decimal point or a dollar sign when writing out sums of less than $1. For example, I have only 50 cents left in my pocket. Keep in mind that we use decimal points in decimal numbers and decimal commas to separate larger numbers.